Good day everyone, this is Junaid Khan. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. The biggest part of the video and the video which a lot of people, the point which a lot of people are not happy about is the 50 points for the LMIA are no longer to be claimed in your application.
Finally, of interest to this, and people that follow this issue, we're implementing further measures that will reinforce program integrity and reduce potential LMIA fraud, such as removing additional points that candidates receive under express entry for having a job offer. This measure is expected to remove the incentive for candidates to purchase an LMIA, resulting in increased fairness and integrity in the express entry system and taking some of the value of the fraud already being perpetrated in the LMIA system. La gestion des nouveaux arrivants est véritablement un effort commun. Elle nécessite une collaboration avec les partenaires étrangers, les États-Unis en l'occurrence.
As you have listened from the Mark Miller about the immigration fraud, and things have been very strict after that. And the biggest news at that point is the people who were claiming the 50 points for the LMIA work permit is no longer the case. Well, one thing I want to mention right here that, the time is not yet mentioned. So if your application is currently in process and, if you want to apply right now, or your application is ready and yet to be submitted, the time specifically is not mentioned in this particular part. So it is going to be that way, but we'll still have to wait, like what is the exact date when this is going to be implementing. So let's talk about this a little bit. The Immigration Canada is having a really hard time about the fraudulent activities going on with the LMIAs. There are a couple of thousand. When I say a couple of thousand, it's like 2,000 or 3,000. It's about more than 60 to 70,000 LMIAs issued, where the employers and there are some agencies or people were involved where these has been put out or given out to the people who were not really legitimately getting those permits. So on the other hand, if you get an LMIA and you can claim the 50 points in your express entry application, let's suppose if your application in today's time is about 480 points and 485 and 90 points, where thousands of applications are basically set to that mark if you see the pool of application in express entry. And if you got an LMIA, that will add an additional 50 points to your application, which will, through your process, which will take your application points towards like 530 or more. And these are basically the draws going on in these time. So, if you have more than 500 or 25 points, I mean, you have definitely a chance to get an invitation to apply for permanent residency. But now what have Mark Miller said, that they have cutting down those 50 points which people used to claim to get the permanent residency. This is big and a lot of people are not happy about it, but this is what it is, and it is because of the activities been going on from last couple of months, I would say a year or so. Let's just talk about, because this is not the only case, there are circumstances where people are basically can claim 200 points, where if they are getting an LMIA for the NOC 0. So there is no statement about that. Are those points completely going to be disregarded? All 200 points? I have no idea. They might give them a little decrease. They might put it 0 as they have put it 0 to the 50 points, but this is not mentioned anywhere in that interview, and there is no set information out from the immigration, even on the website and in today's time. So there are chances, what I think, that they might decrease those 200 points to some certain level, I don't think they are going to completely disregard that 200 points LMIA, but the 50 points are going to be over starting when? No idea still yet. So if your application is already in process, I don't think you have to worry about it. If your application is ready and yet to be submitted, I think this is the final chance to do it, because I have not heard anything about that this is going to be for some period of time. I think this is going to be a completely done, that if they set out the date that from that onward you would not claim the 50 point, that is going to be a dead end over there, because there is no certain date which is mentioned, the start date, and there is no end date mentioned to it. So you can't really have to wait and then submit it when it starts again. So if your application is ready, you can do it. If you're already in process, I don't think you are going to be have to worry about it, because definitely there is going to be a certain time when it's going to start, and before that, if your application is submitted, it's good. But this has all happened because of the fraudulent activities, and this is mentioned in that video. I mean, I'm not saying it from my own perspective, I'm not saying it from my own experience that this is because of the fraudulent activities in the LMIA processes. It has said from the Honorable Minister Mark Miller, and there are multiple videos about it, sent out from the IRCC, and that there has been some fraudulent activities going on to basically allocating of these work permits. Who has done that? I mean, you guys have better idea than mine, but it is going to be very strict. In my other videos, you might heard about strict policy for the misrepresentation for study permits and visit visas and all other application, and it is going to be straightforward in this one as well, that 50 points are disregarded. So if you are spending money, hefty money on it, you have to make sure that you are you really need it, because the 50 points are not going to be there. But you have to put an eye on the next videos, that when exactly this is going to be implementing. Thank you very much.